Hi everyone, let's go over the week 28 quiz on area. The first problem might have been the most challenging for some of you just to figure out what the different dimensions for the shapes were. I think the key was to use this 9 and realize that in a parallelogram, opposite sides are not only parallel, but they're congruent also. So I'm going to steal this 9 and use it in a few places because not only are opposite sides of a parallelogram congruent, but opposite sides of a rectangle are too. So now all of a sudden we have the base and height completed for a couple of different figures. We have the triangle has a base of 9 and a height of 7. So the area of the triangle is 9 times 7, and then don't forget to divide by 2. So 63 divided by 2 is 31.5. Next, probably the most straightforward shape is the rectangle. Of course, a rectangle is just base times height. So the area of the rectangle is 9 times 3, which is 27. And then one tricky detail of this problem is you were given the base of the parallelogram, but you weren't given its height. So you had to take a look at the heights that you did know. So this 16 was broken down into 7 and 3, and then you just had to see what was left over. So 7 plus 3 is 10, and then see what's left over from 16, and there's 6 left over. So 6 is the height of that parallelogram. So the parallelogram is 9 by 6, which is 54. And then when you're finding the area of the composite shape, you just add all those other areas together. So it was 31.5 plus 27 plus 54 for a total of 112.5. So that was the final answer. If you wanted to put units on these, you could have said 31.5 square units, 27 square units, 54 square units, and 112.5 square units. So those were all of your final answers for number 1. Number 2, the trickiest part was you had to do Pythagorean theorem in order to figure out what this height was. You had options though. You could have used the triangle with the 6 and the 10, or you could have used the triangle with the 15 and the 17. So either way, if you did Pythagorean theorem, you would get the same answer for x. I happen to know that the numbers are going to work out pretty easily to be able to do them in my head and stuff if I use 6 and 10. So let's go with that one. So the legs are x and 6. So x squared plus 6 squared equals 10 squared. 6 squared is 36. 10 squared is 100. And then you have to subtract. And then, of course, don't forget to take the square root. 64 is too big for the height if the hypotenuse is only 10. So the height is 8. So we wanted to know what the base of the triangle was. So the total base was 21. The height we found by doing Pythagorean theorem, it was 8. So for the area, of course, don't forget to divide by 2. Base times height divided by 2. So that ended up being 84 square units. If you wanted to put the units on it for the base and height, it would just be units. The area is 84 square units. The base was 21 units, and the height was 8 units. All right, finally, this parallelogram problem. Let's label these axes very carefully. So A is over 3 and up 6. So I'm just kind of eyeballing where that should go. I'm not being particularly exact. B is 10, 15. All right, C is all the way at 21, 21, 15. And then finally, D is at 14, 6. So 14 is a little bigger than 10. I'm going to put that over here. 14, 6. All right, my parallelogram does not look perfect. I went a little too far for the 10 So I didn't have enough red to kind of squeeze in the 21. So it doesn't look perfect, but you kind of get the gist. So the height is easier. So let's do that first. I'm going to use the 15 and the 6. And if I subtract them, that will give me the height of my parallelogram. 15 minus 6 is 9. And then finally for the base, the key is you have to use the right two numbers. So I'm going to look, I never labeled the D. I'm going to look right below the A, and that's 3. And then I'm going to look right below the D, and that's 14. So for the base, I'm going to do 14 minus 3 is 11. So it asked for what's the base of the parallelogram, and it was 11 units. What's the height of the parallelogram? It was 9 units. And then the area of a parallelogram is base times height. So 99 square units. All right, let me know if you have any questions and do your best on the retake. Bye.